Hi, Kwaba to everybody. I'm going to cover 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. I'm new to YouTube relatively. I'm going to focus mainly on international football. But today I will preview the Africa Cup of Nations and maybe I'll do some club football and top five leagues later on. So this app I'm using doesn't allow you to record for too long, so I got to be quick about it. I wanted to have a more detailed, nuanced preview, but because of the time limit here, I have to be a little bit quicker, unfortunately. Let's go right into it. 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, Sahel El Haj in Arabic. Going to be a great tournament. Fortunately, a lot of injuries. Boniface, Partey, Aguirre, a lot of talented players missing, so it's very unfortunate. But we proceed, and there'll be a lot of great young talent to compensate. I think Ivory Coast topped this group. They have a great midfield, probably the best in Africa. Sangare, Kessié, and Fofana. Sebastian Haller and Adingra are experiencing some injury trouble. They should return soon, and Ivory Coast will top this group. Nigeria are second, regardless of our flaws. I'm Nigerian, by the way. Our attack and our just AFCON pedigree will get us second in this group. Uh, I can see anything between 4 to 7 points, but I think Cote d'Ivoire at home top this group. Austin Man is going to have a fantastic tournament. Italy can't hold them. Africa can't hold them. We have great attackers all around them, despite the loss of Boniface. I think Mofi is an adequate replacement. Equatorial Guinea third. Zaling National, self-described giant killers. Well coached under Bikogo. They should get third here. They're very, very talented, well organized, disciplined team. The only Spanish-speaking country in Africa, so it's very easy to cheer for them. But they get third here. And Guinea-Bissau are last. Yes, they're getting better, but I think in terms of cohesion, not talent, because I think in talent they actually have more than Equatorial Guinea. But in terms of cohesion, I think they come last. Now I expect a heavy scoreline in that opening game against Ivory Coast. So I have this group going as it's listed: Cote d'Ivoire first, Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau. Moving on, I think this group finishes the same way it's written on Wikipedia. Egypt first, Ghana, Cape Verde, and Mozambique. Egypt are among the favorites. Salah will probably get this and maybe one more AFCON in his prime. Yeah, he has an excellent supporting cast around him, offensively and defensively, likes of Marmouche, who's combining with the Algerian Shaibi at Frankfurt. Could you imagine an Egyptian and an Algerian combining in Europe? Mustafa Mohammed is playing well in France. Um, El Neni, El Shinawi, and the host, all those boys from Al Ali who are always in the Club World Cup and always doing well. Egypt has a great supporting cast around Salah, and they'll get first here. Ghana comes second, as with Nigeria. AFCON pedigree here. Kudus is a baller. Everybody knows that. There's no Naki Williams. Oh, sorry, pardon me. There's no Sulemana, no Thomas Partey, like I said. Yeah, Ghana still have great players. Respect the Ayew brothers. Jordan Ayew got 2 assists against South Korea. Andre Ayew scored against Gabon, and his red card against Comoros was unfortunate. Ghana gets second here. Cape Verde third. They're like the most average. They're probably like the 12th best team in this competition. Like literally, they are worse than half the teams here and better than half the teams here. Cape Verde are solid, and they will make life difficult for the Egyptians and the Ghanaians, but they ultimately get third. And Mozambique coming last. Mozambique, uh, yeah, they've never won a game in AFCON history. I think that continues here, unfortunately. Well coached under Francisco Conde. Ronaldo from Atletico Madrid, but ultimately I think they finished last year. This group is interesting. People have been disrespecting Gambia. I think Gambia, compared to all the Pod 4 teams, they're the only one with a plethora of players that play in Europe. I think ultimately, though, they come last. Cisse, Jallo, Kali, Yakuba Minte from Feyenoord, a great young 19-year-old. Ultimately, they do come last year, though. I have Cameroon third. A lot of problems within the Cameroonian FA. Samuel Eto'o is in some legal trouble. I won't just go into detail about that, but he's in some legal trouble and some hot water. Rigobert Song, is he the best coach? Any coach that beats Brazil, I gotta give you the benefit of the doubt. But I think Cameroon ultimately get third here. There's a little bit of a twist. Guinea, Sekou Guirassy. He had some injury trouble. Guinea beat Nigeria 2-0 in a pre-tournament friendly. Neither team fielded their best team necessarily, so I don't read too much into that. But I think Guinea gets second here. And Senegal top this. They could win every game like 1-0, 2-1. Every game is competitive in this group, but I think Senegal ultimately top it. Yeah, Mane, Mendy, Koulibaly. The Saudi Arabia cohort, they move on. I don't think that the fact that they play in Saudi Arabia really hinders their chances. I think that Mane and Koulibaly are definitely still elite players. If you don't believe me, go watch your game against Brazil. And Mendy, though he may not be elite, he's definitely more than serviceable. And they have Jackson and Pat Batasar, Ismail Assar, Ilimani Ndiaye. This goes on and on. A great Senegalese team. Well coached from the Aliou Cisse. Group D. I have this group going as it's written as well. Algeria first. This is the revenge tour. Jamal Belmadi, sensational coach. Um, what do you say about these? What can I say about this Algeria team? Mahrez Chaibi is a talented player to look out for. The old heads, Feghouli, Slimani, Bounedjah, all coming back. Awari is here. Guiri is not, unfortunately. The likes of Mandi and Ben Sebaini. Poetic. Um, Algeria has a very aesthetically pleasing style, poetry in motion. They're fun to watch, and they get first here. Burkina Faso, wow, what a tough bunch of you know guys. They're like a resistance army. They just don't quit. This Burkinabe team, Tapsoba, Ouattara, Bertrand Traore, and they just keep producing talent out of thin air. It seems. Um, what do you say about this Burkinabe team? They could go far once again, and I'm telling you, by the end of this decade, they will either have won an AFCON and or gotten to a World Cup. Burkina Faso are awesome. Mauritania third. Some people say that's a surprise. Not really. Angola are in disarray. Elder Costa and Nzola don't want to participate. I think it's due to ongoing disputes between the players and the federation and their FA. So yeah, I think Mauritania are well coached under Amir Abdu, who got Comoros to the round of 16. I think they get third here. They might sneak into the round of 16. Group E is the group of death, if not C. Tunisia, Mali, South Africa, Namibia. Namibia are very interesting. They've drawn South Africa twice. They've beaten and drawn Cameroon. They just drew Ghana as well. I think they get last. Chalulile and some other players who play in South Africa. Um, they're good, but yeah, this group's a little bit too much for them. They won't get dismantled at all. They'll be competitive in every game. South Africa third. I see South Africa getting 3 draws, 3 games, 3 draws in this group. Get feel better, Lyle Foster. He would have been a great player to watch, a joker for South Africa. But I think South Africa gets 3 draws. Hugo Bruce is an AFCON winner, and he's really transformed the team and has them playing better football. South Africa are an African powerhouse, and they're getting back to that for sure. Tunisia second. They don't have the goals that Mali do. They have a very nitty gritty um, defense, and I think they get second here. Laidouni and Skier will be an excellent defensive pair to watch in the center of the field. Kazri, I wish Kazri was here. Hannibal Mejri, shame on him, shame on Onana for not turning up for their national teams. Onana, in his case, not on time, and Mejri not at all. That's completely ridiculous. Anyway, Tunisia second. Mali's gung ho style gets them first. Kamori Doumbia, who scored 4 goals in the last game before African and Asian players started going, um, started leaving their clubs. He's a great player, and he'll be a fun player to watch. So Mali get first. Group F, Morocco wins. There's nothing to talk about. Yeah, they win. They might not concede a goal. Maybe not with 9 points, but they definitely win this group. And Siri has the most important goal in African World Cup history. Bono has made like the most important saves in African World Cup history. Ziyech, Hakimi, Bilal Al-Kanous. So many new talents and old established vets, blending well. Morocco are going to be absolutely fearsome in this competition. I have Zambia second. Pasindaka Sakala. Other guys will make their name. No Enoch Mepu, unfortunately. Zambia are very good, very well organized. And yeah, they're going to be a potential Cinderella story in this competition. Tanzania last. Tanzania are not as bad as you might think, given the paucity of talent in East Africa vis-a-vis the rest of the continent. They're going to host this competition in 2027 along with Kenya and Uganda. So I think this is more of a platform for them to build upon. I don't see them doing a whole lot in this competition, unfortunately. So going straight into the round of 16 here. Round of 16. So I would have group, let's see here, A, C, E, and F all advancing. So the first matchup would give us Nigeria versus Guinea. Like I said these two teams played each other in a pre-tournament friendly. Guinea got the advantage on that day. What do I make of that? Not much. Like I said, when push comes to shove and Guinea gets shoved, and Osimhen, Chukwueze, Lookman, Iheanacho, Iwobi, etc. And I think our defense and midfield are very underrated. I think that's enough to get Nigeria to the quarterfinals. Algeria, South Africa, close game here, hard fought. I see Algeria winning this in extra time though. Somebody like Boune Jah or Slimani getting an extra time winner. South Africa has lessons to build upon, but I think Algeria and Belmadi they just march on here. Egypt, Equatorial Guinea, another fascinating game. I think Salah would have some trouble with the Equatorial Guinea defense. I think they would really hone in on him and make things difficult. Somebody like Marmoush or El Neni would be pivotal and they would get the goal. I could see Egypt winning this maybe 1-0 and they would advance for sure. The dream continues on for the Pharaohs and for Salah in particular. Morocco versus Tunisia. Tunisia is going to win this on penalties. It's too good to be true for Morocco and Japan to both win their respective competitions. I have Tunisia's grit and grind type of style winning here and outlasting Morocco maybe on penalties. And yeah, I think Tunisia marches on. A little bit of surprise there. Another surprise, I have Zambia winning. Avram Grant, the old coach of Ghana, uh, beats his former team. I think Dhaka will be a talent to watch. I think Zambia marches on. And, they beat Ghana. A little bit of surprise here, a little bit of a twist. Ivory Coast, Cameroon. I see Ivory Coast really putting it to Cameroon. They would want this revenge as Cameroon eliminated them in the second round of World Cup qualifying. I could see Twitter abuzz of Drogba versus Eto'o, and I think Drogba and his cohort of fans they win against Eto'o here, and Ivory Coast thump Cameroon heavily. Mali Burkina Faso, I'm not missing this game for anything. Wow, it will be very back and forth. Two talented teams that will, I hope, get to the World Cup soon and could do big things at a World Cup proper. I think Burkina Faso just edges it here. I think mentality recently in competition, I think they just edge it here against Mali. So Burkina Faso moves on. Senegal Congo won't be a walk in the park, but it'll be something close to. I think Senegal, talent wise, just take the day against the DR Congo. But yeah, Congo are another team they're coming back. And there's some talent themselves with Wissa, Bakambu, Mashak Elia, and others. Quarterfinals time. Nigeria, Algeria, end of the road for Super Eagles. Algeria are better, well-rounded team, more well-rounded than we are. Belmadi is way, way, way ahead of Pissarro in terms of coaching. It's not even a debate. So yeah, Algeria win this one. Shaibi, maybe Mara scores another free kick, but they finette continue to the semifinals. Egypt, Tunisia, Salah. If he were to win an AFCON, a Premier League, in Europa, I want to see him get the Ballon d'Or. I don't think it's going to be the case. I think Tunisia gets the better of Egypt. They played each other in a friendly not too long ago. Tunisia won 3-1, and they were mocking Salah by doing his yoga style celebration. It's going to be a much closer game this time. And I think Tunisia ultimately triumphs, maybe like a 1-0 or 2-1. Elisa Shuri is a player to watch out for, of course, in Sakni. Tunisia's excellent defense just pips Egypt here. Zambia, Ivory Coast. I see Ivory Coast getting revenge. Zambia beat Ivory Coast heavily in that qualifying. I think people made way too much of that game. Cote d'Ivoire didn't really care. They were experimenting on that day. I think Zambia faces a real Ivory Coast, and yeah, it's revenge for both that game and the 2012 final. I think I could see a 2-0, 3-0 here. Burkina Faso, Senegal, just little brother, big brother. No disrespect. I think Burkina Faso, if you look across the field, Senegal are just better in every department slightly. So like Mendy is a little bit better than Coffee. Koulibaly and Tapsova are probably equal, but Koulibaly has the experience edge. Mine is a little bit better than Bertrand Traore. Uh, Jackson and Sarr are a little bit better than Dango Ouattara. Yeah, I think Senegal just edges it here and they advance. Third semifinal for Aliou Cisse and his super talented team. Semis. Algeria, Tunisia. Wow. This is the offense versus the defensive juggernaut here. I think Tunisia wins, defense wins championships. Tunisia advances to the first final in 20 years. Skiri and Laidouni are key, and they just stifle Algeria and they advance to another final for the first time in a long time. Cote d'Ivoire Senegal is going to be the best game of the tournament. I could see an Italy Germany 2006 type of game, back and forth, crazy saves, big moments. I think Ivory Coast just edges it here. When we talked about Mane, Koulibaly, and Mendy playing in Saudi Arabia, this is the kind of game where Senegal might pay in that their best players are no longer playing at the intensity, um, the intensity that at the intensity of the European game. The intensity that is found within Europe and its top leagues. I think Cote d'Ivoire wins here, and their young guns, Diakite, Boga, Nicola Pepe, Dingra, players like that just come to the fore, and yeah, their exuberance just wins the day narrowly over Senegal, maybe in extra time. Their play Senegal beats Algeria. Belmadi's actually beaten Cisse thrice now. And that ends. Cisse's too good of a coach for this 4 times. I think Senegal, yeah, gold, silver, and bronze for this fantastic generation, one of the best ever out of Africa. I think Senegal gets third and Algeria take fourth. Belmadi was tasked with making a semifinal or losing his job. I think his job is saved. But yeah, Senegal wins the day here and gets bronze. Cote d'Ivoire will beat Tunisia 1-0. Sebastian Haller scores the winner 1-0. Tears of joy, the man who had cancer only like a season ago, and he's come back strong. He's come back strong. He lost out on the Bundesliga, but this is a documentary type of story. The Haller story, the Cote d'Ivoire story as they win the AFCON here on home soil. Best player, Seko Fofana, a guy who's going to get a lot of assists. Midfielders tend to dominate this award, and he's the type of guy, as we saw with Lions, he just makes teams better. I think he gets best player. Victor Osimhen, regardless of the relatively early exit, Osimhen is going to shine. Without Boniface, the burden will be even more on him to score the goals, and he will do that. He will respond. He gets top scorer. Bashir Ben Said, who is that? The Tunisia starting goalkeeper. Um, per se, most likely he'll be the starting goalkeeper for Tunisia. Afro-Tunisian guy. Shout out to Afro-Tunisian people for sure. Their president is a lunatic, a madman up there with his racist policies. I think he gets player of the goalkeeper of the tournament. Um, AFCON is a tournament where a lot of unexpected players win awards, so why not Bashir Ben Said? Young player Faris Chaibi. This guy, along with Fadingra, along with Kusunu, these are players that are stars already. Faris Chaibi is going to have a big tournament. And yeah, I don't think he's going to stay in the Bundesliga for too much longer. He'll get a big move to maybe Spain or England or Italy. Unless he goes to unless Stuttgart or Frankfurt just ups his contract and gives him more money because he's worth a lot. Most entertaining team, excuse me. Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria. I'll say Algeria's one. Zambia will play great football. This is not an actual award, it's just my thoughts here. And best defensive player. This should be an award in all competitions. I think Evan Ndika, who's played well under Jose Mourinho. I think, yeah, he's going to be the outstanding defender of this tournament. So, wow, this is a testament to African football. Ivory Coast, a team that didn't even make the third round of World Cup qualifying, wins the tournament. I think as good as 2022 was, I think 2026 will be even better for African teams. And yeah, Africa is going to have a World Cup champion soon, as Dr. Patrice Motsepe, South African CAF president, said. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll be making more. I'll be reacting to these predictions and the tournament itself. And I'll do a shorter video on the Asian Cup as my knowledge is not as extensive as it relates to Asian football. Thank you. Have a great day.